Sean, should that be a bit short?
Yeah, it can be, don't you worry.
It is quite short.
Yeah. Right, good afternoon, everyone. Don't worry, this isn't going to be a long speech. For those of you who don't know me, I think you all do now, but I'm John. The lovely, gorgeous, beautiful woman by my side is my wife, Val. And yes, she did type this up for me. We are the very proud parents of this beautiful bride and the apple of my eye, Hayley. Now, before I start, let it be known that I don't make speeches. I'm better known for delegating, and it should be my best mate Colin up here doing it, but he couldn't be here today. I'd like to start by thanking everyone to come in to celebrate the marriage of Hayley and Matt. And I'm now going to say a few words about Hayley. She's known to us as Blunder Woman. She even managed to get stung by a bee of wasp last night. Everyone who knows her will agree that she is kind, caring, bubbly, fun-loving, very independent, and a brilliant mum to our Jacob.
Yay!
At this point in the proceedings, it is traditional for me to bring up an embarrassing moment from Hayley's past, so that you can have a good laugh at her expense. But the trouble is, she has a lot more on me, so I'll pass on that. Of course, there was that one time when she was about 16, she went with friends to a young farmer's disco.
Oh, yes!
It seems she'd only been gone an hour when the phone rang, and it was her friend suggesting I may want to collect her. Earlier than expected, as she wasn't very well. I finally found the disco, taking an old transit van that we had. When I got there, I was directed to a heap behind a straw bale. And there she was, very much the worse for wear after drinking a cocktail of different drinks.
I don't remember this.
No. I picked her up, shoved her in the back of this van, and headed for home. After about 10 minutes, it went very quiet in the back. So a little worried, I braked hard. Heard her slide forward and groan. So I knew she was all right. We did take photo evidence, and Hayley thought they didn't exist anymore, but... No. The only photo I keep dear to my heart is of her crawling along the floor, dribbling and trying to make coherent words, but that's from New Year's Eve 3 years ago. Now I'd like to welcome Matt into our family. I think he knows by now what we think of him, but he still had the nerve to turn up today. We went paintballing last week. What an experience. It's not everyone that can say they shot the groom before the wedding. We're all joking aside, we couldn't ask for a better son-in-law, and they have found the perfect partner in each other.
Here, here.
Just over a year ago, a nervous Matt asked if he could pop round one evening to speak to me. I was also nervous, as I thought he was going to ask us to take Hayley back. But no, he wanted our permission to ask Hayley's hand in marriage. Luckily for Matt, he likes motorbikes. As everyone knows, we are all very much into our scrambling, and it is a big family affair. It can get very intense, and he already knows when to give me a wide berth. It's just a shame he also likes football. You may or may not know, but it is usual for there to be a collection bucket at the end of a scramble when you're leaving, collecting for a worthy cause. So I placed the bucket at the door for my unworthy cause. He has taken to our grandson Jake extremely well, and I do know Jake is very fond of Matt, as we are Alara, Finley and Ollie, although now Christmas has become more expensive. Now, these are just a couple of my tips for a successful marriage. Never go to bed on an argument, always say yes to the wife, and then in the morning, ring up and cancel the online shopping orders. Now at this point, it is usual for me to ask you to toast the newlyweds. But as I'm sure Tim will do that, I'm going to ask you to toast the parents. Tina, Paul, Val, me, who I'm sure you will agree have brought up two exceptional children.
Yeah, I do that one.
The parents. And now I'd like to hand it over to Matthew.
I'm not even going to try and follow that because I'm not going to try and hide it. I've been quite nervous about today, and especially this bit in particular. So it's going to be quite short. It's probably going to sound more like a list of thank yous than anything. Firstly, my wife and I would like to thank you for all sharing our wedding day. I know some of you have had to travel quite a long way, so it's very much appreciated that you've made the effort. I'd like to thank everyone who helped in organising today, because I really didn't know what to expect when I came in, and I was absolutely gobsmacked when I opened the door and saw everything. It was absolutely brilliant. Most of the hard work, though, has been by Hayley and Val, so a special thanks for you two with that. It's not always easy living away from your family and some good friends, so I feel very lucky to have such a warm welcome from my new family. But I'd also like to thank my mum and dad, and sister Donna and brother-in-law Ian for supporting me through some fairly difficult times recently. Honestly, couldn't have done it without any of you. The biggest thank you obviously goes to my gorgeous wife Hayley. Finding me when you did, helping turn things around. I couldn't have wished for more support and understanding than she had the rest of my life. If you'd asked me before, I wouldn't have believed I could love somebody so much that I've known for such a relatively short time. Although it does feel like that sometimes. And I'm not always the best at showing it, but you really have made me the happiest man alive. Last but not least, I'd like to thank my same-sized little brother and best man.
Apparently quite bigger.
Apparently.
Just want to say thanks for going easy on me on the stag day. Had a brilliant day and still got the bruises to prove it, as you know. I might borrow a can after again now, if that's all right. I was going to hand over to Tim next, but I believe Hayley wants to say a few words before we hand over to Tim. So I'll hand you over to my wife.
I just want to say thank you all for coming. I love you all very much, and you've all probably somewhere along the line supported me in some way or another. I've got a couple of special thank yous to make. First of all, a very special person arranged my hen do for me. She made it.
Sorry, Jacob, sorry.
She made it absolutely wonderful. I don't envy her the job because, you know, you're all quite annoying and don't make up your mind and all the rest of it. But she did me proud, and I love you, Mrs. Staniforth, so come here. And the other thank you is the most, well, as you all know, the most special person in my life, and my best friend, my sister, my bridesmaid, my wedding planner, whatever you may be, but I couldn't have done any of this without her, and I love her so much, and this is for you, Molly, because you're amazing. If you don't want either, I will take them off your hands. Thank you. Oh, and actually now passing to my gorgeous brother as well. Billy. Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to start by thanking all who've been here today. especially those of you who knew I'd be saying a few words. It's very touching that he still decided to come. I have been pre-warned to avoid words with too many S's, sausages and trenching. If you have a mobile phone, you might want to download a game of chess, and it will probably be more entertaining than my speech.
No, never.
I know it's been a long drive for some people, but then again it is surprising how far people will drive for a free meal. For those who don't know me, I'm Tim, I'm Hayley's big brother.
Hey.
Hey.
I've known Hayley for quite a while. About 23 years, 7 months and 28 days. When we were young, we didn't really get along. She hated me. I remember her dragging me down the stairs, telling me she wishes I was never born, and pushing me into a stone wall on a ride on tractor.
That was actually an accident.
In return, I threw the TV remote at her head. Or in return, accompanied her on dates at the request of Mum and Dad. And I'd just like to remind her that I'm still the favourite. I can now say we have a very good relationship. I couldn't ask for a better sister. And I'm very proud of her today. She looks beautiful. I guess you really can polish a turd. As for Matt, I can't tell you any stories from when we were young, because I was just a twinkle in my old man's eye. I've only known him 2 years, but I can safely say that's long enough to know he's good enough for my sister. Not perfect, but he'll do. The things I can share is he definitely needs to sort out his severe road rage. Other people are allowed to drive on the road. He also needs to learn to drive a go-kart. Third place is the second loser. He fits in quite nicely with the Dalleys, which can be quite a daunting experience. He knows to keep his mouth shut and only speak when spoken to, especially when Dad's watching the F1. I'm pleased to say I found a capable mountain bike partner who likes to stop for coffee and cake alone. I'd like to thank the beautiful bridesmaid, Lara, where is she gone? Where is she?
Beautiful princess.
And the 3 page boys.
You are quite gorgeous too.
And thankfully behave yourselves.
Hey.
Especially Lara, Finn and Ollie, who are definitely the naughtiest.
Look at their faces. We know not to believe anything Uncle Timmy says.
I have got something for the happy couple, from the happy couple for their mothers. Over here.
Oh, yes, please.
It says here, give flowers.
They're going to thank you beautifully.
On behalf of the bride and groom, I would like to thank everyone here for sharing in this unique and special day, particularly those who have travelled long distances. I know Hayley and Matt will never forget it. Speaking personally, and maybe being a bit selfish, I wish you'd all stayed at home, because things would have been a lot easier on me. Ladies and gentlemen, please raise your glasses and be upstanding again. For Mr. and Mrs. Jenkins without the S.
Jenkins without the S.
He's Easy, Matt, easy.
Get your hands off my husband.